The Marlins have done it, guys. They have reached the pinnacle. 100 Ls and currently sitting in the number one spot for the first overall pick in the 2025 draft. I know there's a lottery, but their chances at this point, percentage-wise, are high. Tons to get into. This is Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins, your daily Marlins pod. I am your host for now, Peter Pratt. Hit me up, of course, at Miami Marlins _UK. And thanks for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. This is your team every day, and it's part of the Locked On Podcast Network. There's a YouTube channel as well. Hit subscribe over on the YouTube channel. And if you're watching, you will be delighted to see the NL Feast, one half of the feast anyway. Sam Clark back in the house. Sam, how are we doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Peter. I'm doing great. Wish I could say it was a beautiful day in New York City. It's a little gloomy. It's a little rainy, but, you know, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're about to talk 100 losses with my favorite baseball team, so I couldn't be in a better mood.
Oh, my days. Exactly, mate. These times are tough, even in the bitter end of September, but we are finding fun things to talk about. It's gloomy in New York. It's gloomy in Leeds. It's gloomy, you know, down in Florida as well at this point, and everything's going on weather-wise. So, you know, winter is coming.
It's on its way, unfortunately.
As a show once said to me. It is on its way, unfortunately. But nevertheless, the baseball rolls on, and the Marlins are about to play another baseball game. Unbelievably, they continue to play games. And they'll be finishing off their series against the Twins this evening in the next couple of hours. Before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by Booking.com and Booking.yeah. And the right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Sam, it's been a rough year, no doubt about it. 100 Ls for our beloved Marlins. Nevertheless, there's a few bright spots, though, right?
Of course. First off, I just have such admiration for your optimism, even in maybe like a top 5 worst season of Marlins history. But you're right. There are some good things that we should be able to talk about. We were talking, you and I, a little bit before we started recording about the few bright spots that we did have this year. The season kind of started off looking like it was going to be a sharp contrast to at least the end of the season joy that we experienced last year. And I think that the thing that I like to focus on the most and really kind of brought me back to the Marlins when it was looking so terrible was the excitement of the new prospects coming up. It's obviously losing Jazz was heartbreaking, less so Tanner Scott and AJ Puck and the rest of the couple of guys that we lost during the trade deadline. But being able to talk new guys, that's always fun when you can project high expectations on like 22-year-olds to turn the season around. Gives you something to tune into.
Was that the experience for you as well? Like kind of post deadline where, you know, new prospects in, and obviously like Stowers was like straight in there, then Norby kind of quickly followed. Was it like, okay, and obviously Griff then as well. Was that the prompter to you of like, okay, I need to watch these guys? But was it that kind of experience for you as a fan?
100%. That was it. Obviously, I was enjoying the team before the couple of the classic foundational guys. But really kind of rejuvenated my interest in the season was when we brought in these young guys. I have a close friend of mine who I've known for a decade who's a diehard Orioles fan. So I was able to get the inside information on Norby, get the inside information on Stowers, and then also make fun of him when Trevor Rogers did so poorly right out the gate. So I was able to have a little ribbing session with him, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, Stowers obviously was a little disappointing to start. Came out striking out left and right. Seemed like he couldn't make contact for the life of him, but he's turned it around. Norby was lighting it up in AAA and then immediately coming up to the major league level and also looking impressive. So I think those are the guys that I was focusing on the most. Obviously, we have a couple people in the minor leagues that are still fun to pay attention to, but yes, those were my big guys. And then Griffin, it was so nice finally getting Griffin called up. We had Mr. Marlin himself getting cut away too during the broadcast, which was a lot of fun. Yep. Conine came in and immediately not immediately, but within a game or two, looked like he belonged up there. And it's, I think, kind of been impressing me the most on the defensive end. I had no idea what kind of defender he was coming into his major league career. Obviously knew him as like a high K, high power guy, could really get a hold of a ball. And seeing him he's got a good arm out there, whether they're putting him in right or left field, he's making some good catches. So I've been happy really with the young guys that we've seen at the major league level.
No doubt. I'm interested to know, and it's funny to call out the Trevor Rogers situation, but I'm interested to know, what was the scouting report from the Orioles specialist? Obviously, like in hindsight, all kind of seen a little bit of Stowers and Norby since, but like you, I mean, I'd never seen anything of these guys, at all. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to learn as we go. What was the Orioles fan scouting report on?
It really seemed like Norby specifically. I mean, it felt like all of baseball Twitter after that trade happened was just really could not believe what we got away with, which was so exciting to be on the receiving end of that for once and not you made a bad trade. Finally, we did it. So that was really cool. It really, from his perspective, was telling me mainly that it was just a product of having, which is a good problem to have, too many prospects, that there wasn't playing time for Norby, and that everybody in the organization and all the fans seemed to be high on him. And Stowers had come up for a cup of coffee in the major leagues before and hadn't totally impressed. But he was really hoping that Trevor was going to offer them that fourth or fifth rotational piece, and was sad to see Norby go, which whenever you're talking to a fan of a team that you just traded with, if they're sad to see a prospect go, you feel like you got away with a little bit of robbery there.
I agree, because it definitely wasn't felt the same in reverse, I would say, where, they're probably like, okay, we're making this move for Rogers, maybe can be a back end rotation guy. Yeah. And we're going to have to give up Norby, and we're sad to see him go. Great. That's fine. You got to give to get, as the saying goes, right? But from a Marlins fan perspective, I barely heard any Marlins fan going, oh my days, I'm really sad to see Trevor Rogers go. Everyone was like, his numbers may have looked okay to like the naked eye. But I watched most of Trevor Rogers' starts this year, and I knew, like, this isn't Trevor Rogers. Like, this isn't like sticky stuff Trevor. Like,
I was just about to ask you that, Peter. I was just about to ask you that. So the rookie season obviously was such great, consistent performances from Trevor, with the exception of some injuries. Came in second in the Rookie of the Year race, and then everything kind of, the floor got pulled out from under him. Do you really think it was the breaking down on the sticky stuff more?
It looks to, the timelines seem to sync.
To a neutral observer, right? It does seem like that's what happened.
It does. I mean, I just remember just how effective he was with that fastball change, working off each other. And I don't know. I mean, obviously there's been some injuries and maybe some confidence issues and various things. So it's maybe a little bit unfair to throw out like and actually I got myself into trouble earlier this week throwing out like wild accusations about Shohei Ohtani and his juiced ball. So I got to be careful here to not make that error again for someone kind of, trying to get me jailed in the US for defamation or something. So I need to be careful here. But
of course, this is all speculation. This is not facts. Yes, we are talking about.
There's no facts. I'm just calling out to say that the timelines do sync with the sticky stuff changes and Trevor Rogers' production over a sustained period since. So we'll see. I mean, Trevor, he's under control for a couple more years. So this isn't the end of his Orioles tenure, obviously. But man, oh man, like, the 4 starts he made, over 7 ERA. I mean, they were right to send him down. I was
about to say, you don't want to, especially it seems like they've had terrible trade luck at the deadline for this year as it is. And this isn't Locked On Orioles, so forgive us for talking a little bit too much Orioles. But you don't want to trade for a starting pitcher at the deadline and then have to option him down to AAA a month later. That is not something you want to be doing, especially when you're giving up good prospects. So, wish them the best.
Agreed. I don't know. I did see as well that Eloy Jimenez was also optioned down to AAA.
That entire White Sox team from like 4 or 5 years ago is just gone in the wind. Even our Tim Anderson, nowhere to be found. Not in Major League Baseball anymore. So,
oh man,
Marlins legend Tim Anderson.
It's a good segue actually, because let's go back all the way. Because listen, as Marlins fans, everyone's got their views on the changes, etc. But Kim gone, Peter Bendix in. The changes, the offseason was what it was, where some players left and there was no real action, no activity from Tim Anderson.
I know.
Which was interesting. And I think from a fan base perspective, we were left a little bit puzzled by that, generally. But just where's your head at with this kind of like switch to the Bendix Rays model? Like, are you bought in? Are you a believer in this model for this market being a sustainable approach for it?
That's so. My first thought was, when you were talking about the offseason, how disappointed everybody was going into it, feeling like we weren't spending money, we weren't making moves, we had a playoff team previously, and we weren't looking to improve them.
Yeah.
The writing was on the wall, and maybe our heads were too far in the sand to realize it in the moment. But like,
I think so.
Of course, this is what Bendix wanted to do. Every general manager, when they're hired, wants to get all of the old guys out, bring in their own new guys, start from scratch, start fresh.
Yeah.
So I was just, I guess, drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much and assuming that he was going to continue the Kim Ang vision for the team. But you really kind of brought up an interesting question, was, does the Rays model work in a market like Miami? And I don't know. I guess it really is dependent on the guys that we bring in that you can project a future on the Marlins too, if that makes sense. Like if we bring in these young guys, maybe draft picks or guys from trades or anything like that, and they have a sustainable career in Miami, I think then maybe you get the fan base in. You want a little bit of that like electricity that comes with the reputation of Miami sports, which is why Jazz was such a great fit, right? Like he had the personality that you wanted. He was like flashy, but he also brought the skill to the position, was willing to do whatever it took to win, seemed like he was saying all the right things. It was, obviously a huge disappointment to see him leave. But I don't know if the model will work. I want to remain optimistic, so I'll say yes. I'll say yes for now that I think it can. But I think it's entirely dependent on the personalities that come in the locker room. What about you? What do you think?
I'm the same as you, where like I get it. I get it for Tampa. We've got phone issues going on. The wind's blowing. Everything's going on.
Everything's going wrong. Yeah.
I just feel like the Tampa market, it kind of is what it is, and the approach taken fits in some ways.
Yeah.
I feel like Miami is in general a different market to that, and I don't think it fully needs the austerity measures of the Rays. I don't think it does. I think. And that's why I'm interested to see, is it a hybrid? Is it more of a Bendix, is it a Rays, but with a budget that then takes it to the next level to support the market? Like, I think, we need to hold our opinions in check for a couple of years and see how it goes, because that's the interesting bit, is when they get to that point where this, like, the talent emerges, how do they supplement that? And how, what kind of characters they bring in and whatever.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, Jazz Chisholm Jr. to me in the Miami market just fits like perfect. It's such a great fit. And so I think fans are a little bit, edgy about that situation, would have liked to see them build around Jazz. But nevertheless, they moved him with 2.5 years of control, felt like that was the peak value. He was healthy for the first time. I guess it makes sense, but man, oh man, I had my reservations over that deal as soon as it dropped. Like, I know people going, oh my God, Agustin Ramirez. And I was thinking, okay, but like this dude, no one had ever heard of him a year ago when he can't catch. And so I'm a bit like...
we don't even know if he's going to be able to play the catcher position, or if they're going to throw him to first base if he's a DH. Like, we don't really know what's going on.
Exactly.
My boss is a big Yankees fan, and having to deal with going into the office and having him just be so excited because Jazz started out so hot for them, was like playing so well. And I obviously still a fan of Jazz as a athlete, as a person, like still a big fan of his, but it's like seeing your ex-girlfriend with somebody else. It just hurts, Peter. It just doesn't feel the same in the Yankees, the pinstripes like that.
I'm feeling pain. It's exactly the feeling I have, mate. No doubt.
There's one thing you said though, you were not to backtrack too much, but you were talking about the Rays strategy working in Miami. I have a lot of friends that are Rays fans because just where I went to school, it was kind of like a hodgepodge of people in the general Florida area. It makes me wonder how quickly that city and that market bought into the Rays strategy, because it's developed this reputation now of being 20 plus years of this is how the Rays run the organization. If you go there, you know what you're doing. You might not have an elongated stay in Tampa, but like you will find success through the money ball of it all. Maybe it just takes a few years for Miami to buy into something similarly. Like if we do start seeing success with this kind of strategy, then maybe they do buy into it, because like the city of Tampa has embraced this Rays kind of team building culture and what to expect from the team, and knowing you're not going to, though apparently they were offering money in the offseason, but that's not normally what they do. They're not spending big. They're not trying to bring in these huge free agents, but they will find sustained success. through the value of it all. So who knows? Maybe Miami will be able to buy into it if we do see some sort of success from this strategy, and it does carry on long enough that we feel like we're not going to get stabbed in the back once again, like we've been 1,000 times.
Yeah, there's definitely a few wounds in that area, let's say. But
yeah,
I think what stood out to me, just to finish up here, and then we'll hit the ad and then kind of carry this on. But what stood out to me, I think, was last season the fact that they had a home wildcard series, whatever it might be, and like they couldn't back it out, which I found that it's a bit of a red flag, right? And there's talk about sustained success and whatever it might be, but man, oh man, if you can't fill out your own home ballpark for postseason games,
I know it's not a good look.
And that's a pretty poor indicator about how the product connects to the market. And I know some people say, well, the market isn't great, and the old excuses come out. Well, the ballpark's in a terrible place. But for postseason baseball, if you truly are in, you're going.
Yeah.
And no one went.
And
I mean, no one is probably a little bit of overstatement, but like it was what, 2/3 full?
Yeah, certainly wasn't a full house.
It's a bad indication for me, to be honest with you. And then the Rays this year, first, I mean, Bendix has left and they've blown up. They're crap now. So
they're holding on for dear life. I know they're battling for 500. It's not a good look. Yeah. I can't believe I'm coming to the Rays defense at all here, but I think one of their games was an afternoon game or something. Like the timing was terrible, and that stadium is one of the grossest places in the entire world. It is not a great place to go watch a baseball game. So hopefully they fix it. I know there's been a lot of ongoing discussion about them getting a new stadium. That's not in St. Pete, not even in Tampa proper, but yeah, I guess I hadn't even considered that. And it's not like they didn't have personalities on that team. Like Randy was a huge success with his cowboy boots, and like what an interesting story. He seems like a good guy. They had the Randy section. Like he was going to the games after he got traded just to hang out with Rays fans in the stadium. So like cool. It does seem like they had personalities, but yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. And it's not like the Marlins stadium is very accessible either. I know they've had their own issues. So who knows? Us fans, we want to remain optimistic. So I'm going to hold out hope that it will work for us, but I guess we'll have to see.
Love it. Optimistic, and welcome to Locked On Rays and Locked On Orioles, by the way. This has been a fun episode, no doubt. Let's quickly let you know about our good friends over at PrizePicks. Yes, sir. And PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app and has over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's you against the numbers. No sharks, none of that. You against the numbers. All you do, pick more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in, baby. And that includes up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get in on the action in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. All you have to do is download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. The code LOCKEDONMLB. On PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Free money almost. 5 down, 50 back. Guaranteed. Love to see it. PrizePicks. Run your game. Welcome back to Locked On Marlins and me, Peter Pratt, and one half. The NLP, Sam Clark, is back. And it's the Marlins half, but clearly has other specialist subject knowledge areas, i.e. the Orioles and the Rays, and also living in New York. So we've got the full extravaganza. Like it's like a roaming reporter, which is great to see.
I got some inside info for you, Pete. I got some inside info.
Yeah, you always do, mate. I know that. I'm going to drop some bombs. For those that are watching, they will see on the rundown, there is a segment listed as 24 trivia. We're going to save that until after the final ad. I didn't tell Sam we were doing this.
Yeah, it's true.
He hasn't had time to prepare about this. He almost declined to record the episode when I said we were going to do this. So he's feeling nervously optimistic, I think, around this segment. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I hope that I can do just a little bit okay. I'm shooting for a little bit okay.
If in doubt, say Edward Cabrera. That is my advice to you. But speaking of Eddie Cabrera, he went last night. It was almost an Edward Cabrera special in some ways, where just one earned run, but actually there was a few more runs. Dodgy defense last night for the Marlins. I think 4 errors in general. But taking away the specifics, I think what we've seen from Eddie post All-Star break really has been probably his best stretch for some time with Eddie Cabrera. I've got to be honest with you, I'm still not a true Eddie believer at this point about the long-term prospects in the rotation. We've spoke about him so much on this show because he's so up and down. He is the true roller coaster emoji. There it is, like the perfect fit for him. Where are you at with Eddie Cabrera on the kind of acceptance curve at this point?
Peter, I'm with you. I need to see it for a longer period of time. I mean, the command has always been a huge issue. The stuff is nasty, right? It is. It looks great when you make it when you pull it out of the context of the results of what's actually happening on the field. So I will. Yeah, I'm guessing neutral is probably where I'll put my feelings toward Eddie. Like he came in and we were so excited about him. And much like another Marlins pitching prospect that comes to mind this year, has not filled the shoes that we would expect them from a top prospect like that, especially with the reputation that our organization has with developing pitchers. You would hope that there would be, especially with the bigger prospects, the guys that have a little bit more of the potential, that you would see some stuff. But you're right; he's been playing much better than we've seen in the past, and just crossing my fingers that into 2025 we'll see a continuation of that.
This kind of blends into one of the questions that's going to come in the trivia section. There's been a lot of guys that have started games for the Marlins this year.
Oh, Peter.
Like from a rotation perspective, who's your favorite starter this year? Like when you look back to 2024, when you think of rotation starters, like who's going to be the name or the start or the pitcher you think about? Obviously you've got no Sandy to, work with.
Yuri,
No Yuri, exactly. So like,
I don't know
who springs to mind?
If you had asked me preseason, it would have been Max, right? Like we were all looking forward to seeing Max come up, see what he could do post injury. I'm going to say TBD. I don't know if any of them have earned best starter of the year. I guess, recent memory will say Eddie, because I like you said, it's going to be my crutch for the rest of the trivia questions coming up.
If in doubt, Eddie.
We'll rely on Eddie, but I don't know. There's not a lot of guys you see on this rotation that you expect to see in 18 months? Like, do you think that going into 2026, outside of maybe Eddie and Max, like who's going to be there? So we'll say Eddie just because he's coming. He's on the top of the brain right now. What you got a better answer?
The guy I'll always think about, like for this season, will be Veyente Beozo. That name is just like etched in my mind of 2024. Like, just it was tied in some ways, but it's become recency bias has taken me to Beozo. Prior to that was Rodri Munoz. So it's like they kind of one in the same where they give up a ton of bombs. The fringy dudes, but they've got some like. Rodri Munoz actually had some really interesting stuff. I remember his first start. I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe something to be a little optimistic about. And then, optimism.
Then all of a sudden, the stuff just started to get hit very hard, very long. And I was like, okay, maybe not. But Veyente Beozo, I think, is the one. I've just really enjoyed, like, he's kind of like Skip Schumacher if he was a pitcher. Like, if Skip was a pitcher, that's what I expect. But you know what I mean? Like, Beozo just like, he's so into it. He's desperate to win. I mean, the season's cooked. It's completely dead. But he's just like all in, just loving life, just like,
heart still in
it. The bases are juice, but he doesn't care. He just throws up another fly ball that somehow creates a double play. That is Veyente Beozo, like in a nutshell. So,
are you expected to see him on the roster next year?
No. No, I mean, not to start. I mean, if we rock into opening weekend and Veyente Beozo's inked into a rotation spot, then either something's gone wrong or this rebuild has taken another step in terms of pace. And they need, we're in warm body mode most of the year because of the injuries and some moves. But, if Beozo's starting in the rotation, then there's been some more requirement for warm bodies.
You said something that I kind of want to address when you're talking about the rebuild is the timeline is that I think there was also a little bit of acceptance from the Marlins fans this year, because when you look at the moves Bendix was making, it was either long shot guys that are still very young or dudes that could come up next year and contribute even this season. So I do wonder if that also led us to have a little bit more forgiveness for selling off everybody that was not nailed to the floor.
I think so. I think it's a really good point because, like, on this show, I was talking about it going, man, the profile of guys the Bendix is getting here, it's like, a toolsy 18-year-old dude. Like, I mean, Dylan Head being like the most obvious one for the Arias deal. I was like, man, when Bendix is talking about restocking this farm, he's talking about like, this is going to become fruitful in 2030.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be nearly 50 years of age at that point. Like,
we can't be waiting that long. That's forever.
Come on, dude. But then, as we saw at the deadline, like things did change where the moves led to more like, this is the thing at the deadline where you get teams addressing, okay, we've got a deficiency here, but we've got, a surplus here. And that surplus is more big league ready. It's like we're happy to move them because there's no playing time for them. They're on the 40 man, blah, blah, blah. That's how you can scoop them up. That's what we saw. And actually, all of a sudden, we all looked around and went, hold on a minute. The timeline's moved up a year or two.
Yeah, it's a little sooner than we expected. Yeah. I mean,
I'm with you. That definitely helped.
You hope to see some of the guys competing for roster spots in spring training, and just getting good looks at guys now has been fun. We were talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like from the pitching side, again, going back to like Beozo, what do we expect to see, if anything? For me, I'm looking at thinking, okay, if everyone's healthy, so Sandy's back, and they don't move Luzardo, because they shouldn't move Luzardo now. They should get him back, and they should like Sandy, just prove health, whatever.
Build him back up.
You plug Eddie in there, you plug Max Meyer in there, you Ryan Weathers. It's a solid Braxton Garrett. Like there's a group there, right?
You're right. When you're naming them like that, you forget about guys. Yeah, and you're sitting here naming them like, okay, we've got. Let's go 2025. We're making a run.
Let's go. I still think the offense has got a lot of work to be done. No doubt. Like it's going to be, it's going to be such a young group. Led by Berger. Actually, Berger's hit his 29th home run, so he's on the cusp of getting into 30. He also enjoys. I mean, I don't know who follows who, whether it's you following Berger or Berger following you, but like similar facial hair preferences, which I'm only jealous of because I couldn't do it.
I'll take the facial hair. I'll take the facial hair as long as it's not the head hair. I don't. That's. But I hope I can keep the hair that I've got now. Yeah, a little less Berger. Where was Peter? My question is though, where was this at the deadline? He came out of the season, was cold, not able to get any trade pieces for him, and then the moment that the deadline passes, the man really starts hitting for power again. We see the Jake Berger that we've come to love.
Well, I mean, this is it. We saw like last year, right? He landed in Miami, but him and Bell, they landed in and they started going berserk and
immediately hitting bombs.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Berger literally was like the second hottest hitter in baseball for a sustained period and it was great to see. So I'm very interested about Jake Berger. What do you see considering his age and controllability? There's kind of like two aspects. Like he's an older guy with the amount of control that he has because of all the injuries and stuff that he had in his prior, in his younger days, let's say. And so what do you see in the future for Berger, considering like, it feels to me like they're moving him away from third base. That to me feels the situation. It's more going to be, do we want Jake Berger to be a first base / DH or do we maybe look to just move the stick and bring in some younger guys? So what are you seeing with him in the outlook here for the Marlins?
I don't know. I guess I think that whatever we do with Berger is probably going to be indicative of whatever you imagine Bendix's timeline is, right? Because like if he keeps Berger around next season, then maybe he is anticipating us at least competing more than we are this season sooner rather than later, which is not difficult to do. But but I don't know. I like Jake. I hope he sticks around. It's always fun to have a guy that hits for power like that, and it doesn't seem like we have too many dudes in the organization that you can expect to do that, at least in the major league level right now. So I think my answer is whatever we end up doing with him will kind of give us a little inside look into what Bendix plans on doing with the team as a whole.
Yeah, I'm the same, like with Berger, just because he does have that control and he has that power and there's value there. He continues to show and prove his value. And the question is, he may be a Super 2 guy, so he may be ARB 1 this year. I think he's on the cusp. So, as soon as anyone's in arbitration for the Marlins, for the Rays, whoever, you're on the clock at that point.
Yeah, writing's on the wall for you.
Yeah, we'll see. So I think, I just want to call out, I'm like you. I really like Jake Berger. I think he's been an amazing addition to the Marlins. And I think he was an amazing addition last year. Him and Bell just like parachuting in going, right, this offense needs a jolt and we're going to deliver it. And they did.
And we're going to be able to do it. Yeah.
Loved it, no doubt. But we look around now and that core's gone. Yeah. Effectively, it's like, him and Jesus Sanchez are looking around going, who's next?
We don't know who these guys are around us anymore.
Well, no one does. No one does. I mean, who's ever heard of Otto Lopez? He's the WAR leader by like a clear 1 WAR at this point.
Or Jonah Bride. Like, come on, we got a bunch of guys out here that nobody knows about.
I need to hit the pause button. I can't talk any more about Jonah Bride again. I may get in trouble. So, I'm going to take the Jose Mourinho and just say, like, I cannot speak. If I do, I will be in trouble. So
that's smart. That's smart.
We'll do
You're
that.
Here so
let's
you
hit
don't
the
get
final
fined.
ads, and then let's talk about, well, this one very small nugget. Then I want to get into some fun trivia at the back end of this and test Sam's knowledge.
We'll see how it goes, Peter.
Which should be fun, no doubt. This episode, though, is brought to you by our good friends over at Booking.com. And Booking.yeah, and you can explore those US cities you've always secretly wanted to learn more about. Other baseball cities with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival city during the postseason. Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition stadium cuisine. Luckily, on Booking.com, you can find the stadium stay that's just right for you. And with Booking.com's wide variety of choice across the US, you can go incognito to all your baseball rivals' cities. Not baseball.com. Booking.com delivers exactly the right US stay for you and can help you book a stay that's close to your home team's or rivals' stadium. So, the right stay can make you a fan of any US city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Final segment on Locked On Marlins with me, Peter Pratt, and Sam Clark. And we have to bring this, we have to bring you some news. Of course, it's a Marlins pod, and I should bring you some news. They have made a signing today. They've made an international free agent signing. Luis Leon, $1.5 million, shortstop, 18-year-old dude. That's all I know, but the Marlins did have some pool money remaining. This was one of the guys they'd identified, I guess, for the kind of latter parts of the signing periods. They got some guys queued up for next signing period, which we've kind of talked about as well. But Luis Leon signs $1.5 million for this dude. Because of his age, the question is like, what happens in terms of where does he go?
Yeah.
Is it, Dominican Summer League complex? I don't know, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So the Marlins continue to make splashes with young dudes. We did talk about 18-year-olds with toolsy 18-year-olds. And, Luis Leon,
special.
Bendix special, baby, no doubt.
Peter, I will say you broke the news to me about this. I came on and looked at the docket and was like, oh, we did something. Okay, good to know.
There we go. Even the 26th of September, we're still making moves, baby. Speaking of making moves, this is the perfect segue into that. Well played, sir. So we were joking about the number of players that the Marlins have had represent them this year and et cetera, et cetera. And I thought it'd be quite funny in some ways for us to reflect on this and a little bit of trivia. This could be tricky, and it's primarily focused on the pitching side, less on
Peter,
the offensive
I'm in trouble.
side. Well, if in doubt, say Eddie.
Okay, all right. I'll remember that.
So I've got a couple of quick fire trivia questions for you based on the 2024 campaign as a whole. Let's see how we do with some of these. There's some names that are obvious and maybe, I don't know, less so. But overall, there has been 19 guys that have started a game for the Marlins in 2024. Absolutely insane. I won't ask you to try and name all 19 because it will be a struggle for anyone.
I was going to say,
for anyone listening right now, this funny thing is like, if you want to play along, like hit the pause button now. The first question to you is, can you write down unaided the 19 and just, enjoy that? I'm not going to ask us to do that. But Sam, who has made the most starts for the Marlins in 2024?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you said always answer Eddie if you don't know. I'm not going to go Eddie. Eddie.
Okay.
Is it Palazzo? Is it your guy? Not even close.
He's sixth on the list. He's number six. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it Eddie then? Am I overthinking it?
Eddie's second on the list.
I
sent you a red herring on that one, baby.
I'm waving the white flag. We
have spoken about him though on this episode in some detail earlier on, and he's no longer with the organization.
Oh, is it Rogers?
Yeah, Trevor Rogers.
Really?
21 starts. Yep.
Oh man. Oh, if that's not an indication as to what this team has looked like over the last season, I don't know what is.
I know. Yep. 105 innings worth of action from Trevor Rogers, and actually a 4.5 ERA in 21 starts.
Oh, that's not great. How close was Eddie though? Was he like knocking on the door?
20 starts. So his final start yesterday, but 20 starts for Eddie. So yeah, close to that. 96 innings total for Eddie, which, again, kind of looking at it, like it's not enough, right? I guess with Eddie, we need to see 130, 140, 150, more like the 150 range for Eddie.
Yeah.
And that's
normal starter
always
season.
the thing. Yeah, no doubt. So that was a bit of a tricky one to get us rolling.
I know I'm already sweating over here. Like I got to take off my jacket here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's carry on a counting stat in some ways and think about the most quality starts.
Okay.
For the Marlins this year, and I'll give you the number just so you can add some. This may help, it may not. But the most quality starts was 6.
6 quality starts. Okay, so Max is off. You've got
Max
me
at 3.
You've really got me confused with this Trevor Rogers thing because I'm like, was it Trevor? Is Trevor the answer both times? There's no way.
Trevor was 3.
Trevor was 3. That 4.5 ERA is showing 3 quality starts. The same as Max, really?
Yeah,
man. Is it Eddie? You've got me. You've really got me confused with this Eddie thing. So I'm gonna lock it in. Let's go back with Eddie.
Eddie is number 2 again.
No.
5 quality starts for Eddie. 6 for Ryan Weathers.
Starts. It's Ryan Weathers.
Ryan Weathers. Yeah. Yeah, just shows you Weathers that was like until he got hurt and obviously missed basically all of the second half.
Yeah, that's probably why he's not on the brain. But
he was, exactly. Recency bias has kicked in there because Weathers he's only started 15 games, 6 quality starts, 80 innings worth, but a sub 4 ERA, which we can't say for pretty much any other starter actually for the Marlins. So
that's kind of great because when he came over, we were not very optimistic about his ability to be a contributor. But you're right. Maybe we can pencil him in next year then with a rotation somewhere.
Oh, he's inked in, mate. I think he is durable, but obviously it doesn't look durable right now. But he's back and he's pitching again, so it's good.
Speaking of good hair too.
He has got good hair, no doubt. And so
the locks are flowing with that man.
I'm all in on the locks for sure. What about most Ks? I reckon you might get this one.
Is it Tanner Scott?
Just say Eddie, baby.
Just say no. So you set me up to fail, Peter. Okay, I'm going to say Eddie then. It's got to be Eddie.
It is Eddie. 107 Ks in 96 innings. Tanner Scott, though,
was he even top 5?
Where's Tanner Scott? He's not even on the list.
Oh, Peter. Oh no. He is. Okay.
53 Ks. So he's had half the Ks.
Okay. I guess he was with the team
in
for
half of the innings.
So.
Yeah.
In half the innings. All right. High K, right. We like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, that segues into best K per 9. This is maybe a tricky one.
Best K per 9.
And I'll give you the number 12.7. 12.7 K per 9 for the K per 9 leader. Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, I hate dead air. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm leaving you hanging.
No. This is everyone needs dead air because they're thinking the same thing. Everyone's playing along trivia-wise going, man, who the hell could this be?
Are they healthy? Are they still pitching?
They are. They're still with the organization, but they are currently injured and have been for some time.
Is it Luzardo?
Not Luzardo.
Reliever. Oh, okay, Peter.
Was with the organization last year as well. Big part last year. If there was a fire last year, he would come and put the fire out from the bullpen perspective. This year, when there was a fire, he'd come out and douse gasoline on it.
He was throwing gasoline on the fire. Oh man, Peter, I'm at a loss. You got me on the ropes.
Andrew Nardi, baby.
Nardi. Oh man. Okay.
I don't know.
He's a 12. That's insane. Yeah, man, I would never have guessed that. Okay. Wow, Nardi, baby.
12.7 K per 9 with a 5.07 ERA.
Okay, well, one of those things is not like the other.
Yeah. The funny thing, like you go and look, okay, who are the others like near them on this list?
Yeah.
And, guys that have thrown significant innings, I would say, is, Fauché, similar amount of workload, actually. He's at 10.6 K per 9. Tanner Scott, 44 innings, or 44 games, sorry, but he's a 10.4. So it just shows you, Nardi was cleared by 2
that's kind of wild.
Wild scenes from Nardi, but it didn't really show up in his production. Again, he was striking guys out, but he just couldn't put away those inherited runners. That was the thing. He was a specialist that last year. And it just didn't happen for him.
Yeah. Man.
This one is going to be tough.
Oh.
I'm going to call it out as tough.
Okay.
If these haven't been tough enough. The best, excluding position players, because actually there is a position player that leads this, best whip of any.
There's a position player that leads that?
They had a zero whip. So
okay, so they threw one inning and
from one inning, yeah. But other than that, the best whip, and it's a 0.56 whip. He is in the bullpen now.
I was about to say, so he's got to be in the bullpen
recently. He's in the pen, yeah. He didn't start the season with the Marlins.
Bender was getting hit. It's not Bender.
Nope.
He
was a waiver claim during the year.
He was a waiver claim during the year.
Yeah.
Oh man, Peter, I got to start tuning in more often.
I know, man. It's gonna be tough. Questions. It is.
Give me one more hint, and then I won't get it, and we can.
I'll see. This is the best hint I can give you now. Probably, like he's had a few saves, but the hint I'd give you, I mean, this helps. He did actually play for the Marlins in 2020, and he then has been brought back via waivers and has been pitching in the pen in high leverage situations in the past couple of weeks. Granted, no one's watching these last couple of weeks, but
yeah. All right.
You may not remember him from 2020, but
I'm gonna wait. You need to give me a little bit of grace. I'm going to pull up a list of all of the relievers to refresh my brain here, so I can make an educated guess. I'm going to make. Okay. All right.
I love this.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
The only name there's two names that are standing out. Is it Sean Anderson?
Nope, not Sean Anderson. Nope.
Then Maldonado?
Not Maldonado either.
Okay.
It is
those were my two guesses.
Tinoco.
Man, I was going to be honest with you, Peter. He pitched in 2020?
He did for like a handful. I mean, everyone pitched in 2020, so they just needed so many guys. But like Tinoco did pitch, but like I think it was the back end of the 60, but he didn't make the playoff roster. He just kind of filled a little bit of a jump shift.
I remember correctly.
I didn't remember him from 2020 at all, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But Tinoco's actually, I mean, 0.56 whip.
That's a good indication of some
games.
Looks,
again, like these are the little diamonds in a year of pain.
Yeah.
This is why Bendix has had so many players cycling through, right? Because you just throw as many things at the wall and you see what sticks. And Tinoco looks like he could stick. And so
that'd be around next year for a little bit.
Be a winner. So yeah. All right. Go on, mate.
Wait, can I ask you? I want to ask you one trivia question.
Please.
Can we mix up the trivia questions?
Do it, mate. Do it.
Okay. Oh, this is bad, Peter. This is not the statistic that I was hoping to be able to pull up.
Okay.
Who has the highest OPS plus out of healthy starters or players now on the Marlins?
OPS plus from the start.
I went Baseball Reference, Miami Marlins 2024. I'll give you a hint. We did talk about him a fair amount already.
I guess it must be Jake Burger then.
It's Jake Burger, my friend. Yes.
Okay, Burger, lock him in.
Don't shoot the messenger. Baseball Reference is. I feel like I got a 70% understanding of it. So if I excluded somebody by accident, then please forgive me. But that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with.
I like it. These are the things you don't know. Like, is it qualified hitters and all that kind of stuff? So I get it. I mean, if you just, Burger must be up there just considering he's hit 29 home runs and it's OPS plus. So. Yeah, makes sense to me. All right, final one on the pitching side, and maybe you want to throw one back at me after this, but the earned run leader in 2024.
Earned run leader. Oh, this is not a list you want to be on. Oh man. Okay, I'm assuming we're excluding position players then, right?
Yeah, he's a guy that started plenty of games. He's not currently
at Max?
The big league level. Nope, not Max.
No, he got demoted.
He was on my list earlier of guys that I'll think about of 2024.
Muniz?
Brother Munoz.
Oh, I got one right, Peter.
You got one, baby. Let's go.
Okay. Oh, I'm not going to get a goose egg. You love to see that. All right, good.
Goose eggs, baby. Yeah.
I'll take the hints.
Earned runs, mate. 60 earned runs in 82 2/3. So a 6.53 E.
Almost
a -1 WAR. No, so.
Maybe you and I could do better, Peter. Maybe we could get out there and see what we got.
He gave up 26 home runs. I mean,
that's quite a lot. In 80 innings.
80 innings, 26
that's
home
not
runs, man.
that's not great. That's not great.
All right, well, that concludes the Marlins trivia, the impromptu trivia. I mean,
hey,
please, I'd love someone to send me again, hit pause, open your notes on your phone, and try to give me as many of the 19 starters that you can, and just tweet me,
send the
DM
notes
me,
out.
whatever.
List.
Just send me a list. See how many you can get. I mean, boy, oh boy, there's some names in. Honestly, when I read through them names, some of them I'd never even heard of.
Yeah, that's what this season has been humbling to me as a baseball fan. It's been very humbling.
Yeah, it has. I mean, Austin Kitchen, one start. I mean, come on.
Kind of wild.
Yoni Chirinos had 6 starts. I mean, that was. I mean, the number that does stand out, AJ Puck with 4 starts. I mean, that was a wild experiment that went on.
That was did not go according to plan. But hey, at least we got something for him.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, this has been a lot of fun. It's a good little fun way to end.
Peter, pleasure as always. Pleasure as always. I obviously love the show. Can't wait to see what you do after this. Huge fan. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Same, mate. When we come together, we always have a good time. That's the main thing. And
I
hope everyone listening is, too much fun. I mean, we're on a 45-minute run here on a 30-minute episode. So yeah, that just sums it up as usual.
We'll give everybody's earned a little bit extra time on Locked On Marlins with the season that they've been putting up with. So we'll give them a little extra fun.
This will be the most listened to episode now, no doubt about it. Trivia.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Everyone wants trivia. So
yeah, late September Marlins trivia. Let's go.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, firstly, Sam, thanks for hopping on, mate. And it's great to,
of course.
Not just for this episode, but all the episodes we've done together. They've always been a lot of fun. So appreciate you. Appreciate everyone for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. The Marlins are looking to win the series against the Twins and put a dent into their postseason campaign. And it's maybe on life support now for the Twins. Wait to see Vayente Beozo going. So my guy going here.
Your guy's going today.
Let's go, Vayente Beozo. I'm looking forward to it. So, guys, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Friday's episode. Kenny, also known as Takes Were Made, is on the show. We'll look forward to that one. And we will see you then.
A legend.
Let's go. See you then, guys.